You're watching Fox 14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now it's 7. Yesterday was National Retro Day. Our very own Fernanda Silva shares how one area of business celebrates Retro Day every day. Plus, Anthony Saviello shares the progress made in Jasper County Courthouse after a water pipe burst last month. And it is stupid cold. It is offensively cold outside after temperatures in the 80s yesterday. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Sorry. Hey, look, you do this long enough and the coffee kicks in weird ways and then things are just really funny. It says my name twice. So I should say exactly what it says. So good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Chris Warner, and I'm Chris Warner. 7 o'clock, or slightly, now it's 7:01 on this Wednesday morning. Our very own Trevor Lewis in the studio with us. He's got Pepsi. I'd like some of that. He's not sharing. That's not very nice of him. Well, it's very cold out there. We told you yesterday that cold front was going to come through, and we've been telling you for a few days that cold front was going to make it miserable, and it certainly did. We're going to have more on your forecast in just a moment, and yesterday, not only was it a great day, it was also National Retro Day. I live that every day myself. But a store in Galena, right along Route 66, celebrates the day every day. Gearhead Curios has a variety of vintage items, many of which were gifted to the store's owner. KOAM's Fernanda Silva shows us how visitors can travel back in time.
This is the sound customers are coming in to explore this store on Route 66 and hear a story.
English. And I translated Italian.
Aaron Perry is the owner of Gearhead Curious. He's also the storyteller that welcomes thousands of visitors every month from all over the globe. People who are traveling on America's Main Street and also in time.
Here you have a lot of items that they look old school. How do you get them?
You're pointing at my fireplace, which is a 1933 Chevy that my dad and I cut out of the woods, and I put the fireplace insert in, and I built the infinity mirror. So it's kind of retro cool, but with a twist to it.
And even the restroom here is an attraction itself. This is how you flush it. And to wash your hands, you use a gas pump nozzle.
His creativity goes a long way.
I tell people that I get to offer an escape from reality to the people that are traveling back to nostalgic America.
But sometimes he also gets help.
My ceiling is covered with license plates that travelers have gifted me. And one guy stuck $1 on the wall and told me, this is how you start something. And now I have money from all over the world.
But clients also come from short distances. Galena resident Gabrielle Richards and her partner were enjoying the sunny, warm day and decided to stop by.
It's just amazing because, they're so excited and we're like, oh, this is just Galena, like we get so used to everything and they are so excited and it's amazing.
I'm here every day. When that traveler comes through, they're on a one-day adventure or maybe a 1 month or something like that. They get to experience that and let their mind wander and time travel, and I get to offer that every day. It is so cool.
A time travel, he says, that allows him to live his dreams every day. In Galena, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Gearhead Curios in Galena is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Certainly an exciting trip, and it's always fun to travel historic Route 66. I think, between that and like the George Washington Carver monuments in there, what comes to mind, because we live here and we see these things regularly. They're in our backyard. We can go to them anytime. We sometimes take for granted some of these historic places and locations, and it's important for us to remember what we have right here that makes this place so special. Unfortunately, Mother Nature not treating us very special because it is quite cold out there. Let's take a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. It looks great. Clear skies, the sun is rising, but see the camera shaking? It's quite windy out there, and it is very, cold outside. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking back to the west. Clear skies. Folks starting their day, but they are starting their day with that heat crank, the heater seats on, whatever you've got to keep you warm. Same from the KDOT camera on 69 at the Kansas Crossing intersection. Looks good, just doesn't feel all that good. Temperatures 21 in Joplin, 21 in Pittsburgh. Our wind chills across the entire region have been in the single digits this morning. It is bitterly cold. However, we'll warm just a little bit, but it's going to be a struggle to get there. Our highs today, upper 30s, low 40s. The good news is by the afternoon, the winds do eventually stop. And, well, they don't stop, but they'll calm down considerably. And we'll go back in to the 30s tonight with those mostly clear skies. We will have a complete look at your forecast and talk about how long this cold spell lasts and when some warmer weather will get here in just a few more minutes. Now to this morning's top stories. Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to a motorcycle crash just south of Redding's Mill yesterday evening. 22-year-old Nicholas Glover of Seneca was riding a motorcycle north on Missouri 86 and attempted to pass on a curve and double yellow line. He sideswiped an SUV and then hit a minivan head-on. Glover was pronounced dead on the scene. No one in the other vehicles suffered any injuries. And a story we first brought you at noon yesterday. A pickup crashed into the Denny's in the Ocho, leaving the business temporarily closed. It happened just before 7 a.m. when officials say the driver of the pickup accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake. The truck drove into the waiting area of the restaurant. Officials say no one was injured in the crash. Denny's is closed for now as they wait for a contractor to complete temporary repairs to bring the building back up to city code. Plans for a new bypass on Highway 69 near Pittsburgh are headed back to the drawing board. KDOT held a lunch at the Crestwood Country Club in Pittsburgh. There, they announced they were dropping the Western Alignment Plan for the Crawford County corridor in response to feedback. They also announced a new corridor study to reevaluate their options. That study will be broken into two phases. The first will collect traffic and safety data as well as public input. The second will develop plans to move forward.
We're going to be coming out for public meetings here this spring and this summer, and we're just going to really try to understand from all of the communities down here, the county, the various cities, try to understand what they need out of US 69.
New study is expected to take 12 to 18 months to complete. And just a month after a pipe burst in the Jasper County Courthouse, county officials are now looking to start rebuilding and replacing all that was destroyed by the water damage. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Once a newly refurbished office is now only a shell of one.
I got this office back a week ago today, and was able to come in and say, oh, now what are we going to start making plans and move forward. And that's what we're doing.
Jasper County Collector Steve McIntosh's office is one that was destroyed by a burst pipe back in January.
The goal is, and what I'm tasked with doing, is putting it right back the way it was before. Sure. And that's really what I want to do. I liked what we had. Yeah. We want to go right back to where we were.
As you can see here, traffic cones, caution tape, and large dumpsters line the courthouse building as the cleanup process continues. A process which was made more difficult when unexpected discoveries were made.
I was actually barricaded out of this office as they abated the lead-based paint on the ceiling for 3 weeks.
There's still a lot of work to be done, and as of now, the collector's office in Carthage will remain closed until further notice.
It's going to have to be shut down, and we're looking at probably a minimum of 3 months to get it put back together again.
However, McIntosh wants the public to know that this is not the end of the world.
Please bear with us, be patient. My Joplin office in the Joplin Courts building is fully functional. It's open. You can go online and do things. You just simply cannot come into Carthage and pay in person or get anything in person out of this office.
Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Some good news for him. McIntosh says insurance will cover the cost of those repairs. That's our top stories here at the top of the hour. Coming up next today is Wildcat Wednesday. Sherry Nelson has details on the accomplishments of one kid in 4-H.
The President's Day Super Sale at Furniture Row has been extended, so there's still time. Check out the Summit Queen for only $299.99, plus 6 years no interest and free shipping. Hurry! The extended President's Day Super Sale at Denver Mattress ends soon.
Welcome back. It's Wildcat Wednesday. We have Sherry Nelson with us this morning. Sherry's part of the 4-H Youth Development for Kansas State Research and Extension. She's here to show us the accomplishments of a group of kids, as Sherry was explaining to me. So a group of these young individuals who have been doing something pretty fantastic. Welcome to the show. So what's going on out there?
Well, we're glad to be here this morning. Some of your viewers may remember I had some 4-H'ers on last June, I believe, on Wildcat Wednesday, and they talked about the National 4-H Council pollinator habitat grant that we received. And so I just wanted to come on and kind of summarize some things that we've accomplished since that time.
All right. So what all have you managed to do so far?
Well, we have, those kids managed to reach almost 1,000 other youth during the summer and the school year at different things, teaching about habitats. And then we've established some habitats. We established one at the kids' community garden in Parsons, one at the old Iron Club in Wilson County, and we are still working with the city of Parsons on their Tolan Creek pollinator habitat walk that's going to be out there. So I brought a couple of things that we developed. Since it's cold outside, I want to remind people that pollinators are sleeping. I know it's, over the weekend it was so tempting to go clean out the flower beds and rake all the leaves and everything. Well, guess what? The pollinators are still sleeping there. So although I have seen a lot of bees recently with the warm temperatures, so it's important that we think about and not, the kids learned about not getting in a hurry and waiting for the pollinators to wake up a little bit. Wait till the soils are about 50 degrees before you start cleaning things up and some things like that. They also, we made these handy dandy signs, learn planting native is the most important thing because we can conserve water. Native plants don't require as much water. You don't have to mow as much, fertilization and pesticides. Of course, with pollinators, you don't want to use pesticides anyway. And it's improvements not only for pollinators, but also for wildlife and other things that you might want to bring along. So those are just a few of the things that the kids learned. They learned, of course, about what plants they should plant. They learned about the different types of pollinators. Some of our kids were very impressed to find out that, bats are pollinators and, not just, we think of butterflies and bees. We know the butterflies and bees, but we don't always think about those things. So.
All right. So a lot getting accomplished and a lot more work to do.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Sherry, thank you so much for coming in this morning, and we will be back with a check of your forecast right after this.
Kansas Crossing Casino is more.
Brought to you by Neosho Arts Council, Missouri Humanities, and Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 now on this Wednesday morning, and it looks great outside. Clear skies, beautiful sunrise, but as you can see, the camera's shaking. It's very windy out there as well, and because our temperatures are so much colder, our wind chills are they're bitterly cold out there. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, also looking good back to the west, and you can see clear skies out there as well. At KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh, plentiful sunshine, looks great. It doesn't feel great. Our camera 7th in range line, there's the sun. Beautiful start to the day, except for these temperatures. 21 in Joplin. That north-northwest breeze at 15, gusting to 24, makes it feel like 8 outside. Temperatures around the region. We still got some teens up to the north. Neodesha, Yates Center, Iola, and Fort Scott. The rest of us still in the low to mid-20s, but with that gusty north wind, that doesn't matter. Just throw that out because this is what it really feels like. Every last one of us feels like it's in the single digits. We broke records yesterday. We hit record highs in the 80s yesterday. And this morning, it feels like 2 degrees in Yates Center and Iola. It feels like 5 in Joplin, Neosho. It's so cold out there, unpleasantly so. And it is colder to the tune of 30 to almost 50 degrees colder now than just simply 24 hours ago. And that map is going to look the same throughout most of today. We're going to see mostly clear skies. The winds continue through the morning, so be prepared for that. 30 by 11. And as we head into the afternoon, the winds will calm down. They'll be out of the north about 5 to 10. Still mostly clear, highs upper 30s, low 40s. So from record highs yesterday to highs that are about 10 to 15 degrees below normal out there. Mostly clear through the evening. Calmer winds still. Lows upper 20s to 30. So believe it or not, the lows are about on par for this time of year. It's the high temperatures that are struggling. Tomorrow, about average, 55 degrees out there, but clouds increasing. We'll go mostly cloudy. Winds also out of the south at about gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour. Could see a few evening showers, late evening showers here and there. Heading into the weekend, windy again on Sunday, but highs once again pushing close to 80. Talk about a roller coaster ride that we're on here. Then we have another system, knocks us back down just a little bit this time into the 60s. Rain chances Monday morning, again on Wednesday and again on Friday. And as we head toward the end of the week, our temperatures go back into the low 70s. Not too bad whatsoever. That is a check of your forecast. Just remember, we only have to get through the next couple of days and we're going to be right back near 80 again. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Some fresh water.
The 2-year TV price guarantee from Dish. Tuned in to you.
A boy in Indiana is celebrating his 10th anniversary after a much-needed heart transplant. Logan Gay sat down with the boy's mom to learn of the incredible journey that they've been on.
Who is that?
Me.
You and who?
Fuentes.
Fuentes. What is Fuentes?
My donor.
Your donor, yeah.
Liam Sprague can help but smile when he sees 7-year-old Fuente Guerra's face. They've never officially met, but Liam carries a piece of him wherever he goes.
Everybody that knows Liam knows that he had a heart transplant, and he knows, and he knew that he was going to need a heart to help him get better. So this is just kind of closing that loop. He did get a heart that made him better, and it was Fuentes' heart.
10 years later, that heart is still beating strong.
He's amazing. His heart is amazing. He is happy. He's healthy. He's thriving. He loves to laugh.
That's something everyone in this room can agree on. They call themselves Liam's Army. And on the 10th anniversary of his life-saving heart transplant, 150 of Liam's closest family and friends gathered to celebrate him and the boy who gave him a second chance.
Because if it wasn't for Fuentes, we wouldn't have Liam. If it wasn't for our familia, the Guerras, we would not have Liam.
The transplant somehow unifying both families.
They say that on their hardest days, they can go back and look at Liam's pictures or videos, and it reminds them that even with tragedy, there's greatness and there are good things, and that Liam is that good thing that came out of it.
It is very scary.
Peggy Carcare was a part of Liam's Army from the very beginning. She took care of Liam at the hospital in the emergency department. Now she's an aftercare support coordinator with the Indiana Donor Network.
It's hard work that we do, but to see these families have their loved one longer and to be a part of that, and for Liam to have 10 years with his family because of this gift, it's an amazing thing to be a part of, and it's why it's so important for people to register.
We wouldn't have this. I would have been a mom of only one for the last 10 years if it wasn't for organ donation.
Certainly an incredible, powerful story. Well, coming up, residents in Chetopa are losing their grocery store. Our very own Amber Jenkins shares how the loss will impact the community. And again, a very cold start, a bitterly cold start, quite breezy. We'll talk about that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Volunteer application, fill it out and mail it in.
Join us to send veterans to Washington, D.C. and treat them like the heroes that they are.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News here on Fox 14. It is now 7:27. I'm Chris Warner. In today's top stories, Jasper County authorities charge a man with child sex crimes. Jasper County Sheriff's Office started investigating Rusty Little of Anderson on February 7th. During the investigation, they say they learned he performed sexual acts on a young girl. Deputies arrested Little yesterday in Joplin. He now faces charges of first-degree statutory sodomy and sexual misconduct involving a child. And a federal judge sentenced a Carthage man to prison for child pornography. 36-year-old James Bean pled guilty to 1 count of receiving and distributing child pornography after sending an explicit video to an undercover FBI agent last September. Bean will serve 12 years in federal prison with 20 years of supervised release after that. Fire crews in Neosho battled a grass fire in Morse Park. The Neosho Fire Department got the call around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, they found active flames rushing through the wildland brush, burning leaves and spreading quickly. Crews worked hotspots for hours as an estimated 30 acres burned. No homes or buildings were damaged. The cause of the fire is unknown. City of Pittsburgh teed up a groundbreaking ceremony on a new mini golf course or new mini golf facility. City officials, key stakeholders, donors, and the community came out to celebrate and share details about the project located at the Four Oaks Golf Course. Private donations and grant funding made the facility possible.
There's not a lot to do for the, 7 to 27 crowd. There's, you have adult golf or youth sports, but for entertainment wise, and we envision, the high schools being able to have like senior night out here on, on a Friday night or something like that, or stay open for them to give that age group a little bit more to do.
The new mini golf facility is expected to be open by this summer. And it is cold and it is breezy out there as we start our day. We warned everyone about the cold front. We talked about that cold front for days. We told you it was going to drop temperatures 50 degrees, but it is one thing to talk about that. It is totally different to actually experience it. Now, it looks nice outside. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, clear skies, plentiful sunshine. But as you see, the traffic light blowing in the wind, we've got that north breeze out there. KDOT camera, on 69, just south of Pittsburgh at Kansas Crossing. Also looks great, but we've got very cold temperatures and we have even colder wind chills. 21 in Joplin and Pittsburgh. Wind chills this morning in the single digits across the entire area. So you absolutely need to bundle up as you head out today. The winds will continue through the morning and ease up by the afternoon. North winds at 5 to 10 miles as we head through the afternoon hours. We'll be mostly clear. It'll look nice, but as you see with our temperatures, and they have a hard time warming up. With our highs today, upper 30s and low 40s, so we're about 10 to 15 degrees off of normal, whereas yesterday we broke records with our high temperatures in the 80s. Now the good news is, unless you just really like bitterly cold weather, this is going to be short-lived. We will start to warm up again, and we will talk about when that happens and what it looks like in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Well, after more than 70 years, Chetopa Foods in Delhi is closing. KWM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Been a long time coming, but all the employees here, we've already found other jobs. We are just waiting to know for sure when the store is closing.
Chetopa Foods, this is Misty.
Chetopa Foods in Delhi in Kansas is set to close before the end of 2024. Kevin Vaughn, an employee for 3 years, says the owner of the grocery store has made a decision to shut down the business but has not picked a date. He believes it's because the owner is busy with other duties.
He lives in New York, so he's here and there. He's a truck driver, so he's too busy actually, I think, to actually sit down and think it over right now. He's just going by what the store is doing today.
Once Chetopa Food closes, residents will only have a couple of variety stores. The closest grocery store is in Oswego, 9 miles away, and the closest Walmart is in Coffeyville, 28 miles away.
If we leave, it will hurt the community. They'll have to travel to go to get their groceries and whatever else they need from a grocery store.
One Chetopa resident, Jerry Dye, struggles with mobility after an accident. He's disheartened that the only grocery store in town is closing.
People are going to have to go farther now to get the same produce that they were getting from the store. Even if it's just 8 miles to G&W, it's, a little bit of a hardship for some people that are on fixed incomes.
Dye believes this is another sign that Chetopa is dying.
And that was part of the nail in the coffin there, was losing your one and only grocery store.
Reporting in Chatopa, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Well, we don't have contact information for the owner, but the employees we spoke with believe the store will close within the coming months. Let's check of our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A looming government shutdown could happen as soon as this Friday. More details on how this could affect you.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can. With Smile Actives, the teeth this offer is not available in stores. So call or click now before the special buy one get one free offer goes away.
Welcome back. The Joplin Interfaith Coalition's purpose is to promote understanding and fellowship among the different religious communities of the Joplin area and surrounding areas. Amanda Stone and Paul Tevereau join us in the studio this morning talking about their annual bake sale that's coming up this Saturday. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here. Paul, you and I, we've had a number of conversations over the years, so it's great to see you. And it is wonderful to welcome you into the KOAM Morning News. So you guys have a bake sale going on. I want to talk about the bake sale, but first I want to talk about real quick the Interfaith Coalition. How important is it? Because especially like some of the wars that are happening overseas, that's one of the key points of conflict sometimes is religious differences. So how important is it to bring these different faiths together and kind of unite the community that way?
Well, we started more than 10 years ago, 2012, originally to celebrate the anniversary of the Tin Tornado, but we've seen value in, first of all, learning about each other's religions, understanding why different people follow different practices, have different beliefs. And we also believe, as you said, that we can have our different religions, but still work together for the good of our common community.
All right, and that seems to be something that is very important. As you mentioned, you kind of formed right around the anniversary of the Joplin tornado. And really, that was one of the unifying forces. And bringing the religious groups together, I think, is extraordinarily unifying from a community perspective because they're seeing what some people perceive as unique and completely different views come together. I feel like it's an important show for people. It's an important message for them. And now you've got this bake sale coming up. Tell me about the bake sale.
Well, we've, again, for the past several years, picked on a national, local organization that we think is doing good work in the community to benefit from the proceeds of the bake sale. And this year, we decided to support Amanda's organization, Bright Futures.
Right, and so tell me a little bit about Bright Futures for those who may not be familiar with what exactly Bright Futures does.
Bright Futures Joplin, we exist to support Joplin school students. So students living in poverty, we provide school supplies, food on the weekends, clothing, anything they might need that could be a barrier to their success in school. And so the Interfaith Coalition bake sale proceeds will go a long way in helping us provide those needs.
And I think what a lot of folks don't necessarily realize is there are a few more impoverished students in this area in general than what they may perceive just from the outside looking in. So how important is it to be able to have an organization help raise funds for you all?
Oh, it's very important. We're a nonprofit organization, so everything that we do is based upon donations from community organizations like the Interfaith Coalition.
All right. Well, Paul, Amanda, thank you both so much for coming in this morning. Love having you here. And of course, for more information on all of this, we're going to have it on our website at koamnewsnow.com. So make sure you come out this Saturday, support the bake sale, and support students in our community. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Deep Forest.
This morning at 10, right here on Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:41 on this Wednesday morning. And again, it looks lovely outside if you're inside. If you're outside, it is not nearly as lovely. But beautiful shot of this sunrise. This is our camera, of course, on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. But it's also been very windy. This camera's been rocking back and forth out of there. Got a very gusty north wind. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Clear skies out to the west. Plentiful sunshine. If you look, you can definitely see these traffic lights bouncing around. They've eased up a bit, but we're not quite done with the winds yet. KDOT camera on 69 south of Pittsburgh. Again, ample sunshine out there. It looks great. But man, it feels anything but. What are we talking about? These temperatures. We knew they were going to drop, but man, it hurts. It hurts to actually see it happen. 21 in Joplin right now. North-northwest breeze at 15, gusts to 24, makes it feel like 8. In fact, every community in our area, we'll talk about this. We've got teens, Neodesha, Yates Center, and Iola into the teens. The majority of us, though, still low to mid-20s. But you can just take this and throw it away, because with those gusty winds, we're all feeling like it's the single digits. I cannot get over it. This is what fascinates me about the weather and how things work and why I do this. We made 80 degrees yesterday. We broke record highs yesterday. Less than 24 hours ago, we were in the 80s. Now it feels like it's 2 degrees in Iola and Yates Center. It's just an incredible change across the area. Now, the good news is, unless you absolutely love this cold temperatures, which are anywhere from 30 to almost 50 degrees colder than yesterday, we're going to get better. Going through the morning, the winds hold on. 30 by late morning, mostly clear skies, still breezy from the north. By this afternoon, those north winds ease up about 5 to 10 miles an hour, mostly clear. Our highs 15 degrees or so below normal as we go upper 30s and low 40s out there. Tonight, through the evening, clear, cold, but believe it or not, our overnight lows not that far off of where they should be. It's our daytime highs that are going to be struggling. We're going to go upper 20s to right around 30. Now, Thursday, we actually go back to normal for this time of year, which is somewhere we haven't been for weeks, it seems. We'll be in the mid-50s, mostly cloudy, south breeze occasionally gusting upwards of 20, and we could see a few late evening showers across the area. Then as we head into the weekend, look at that. We go right back into the upper 70s, pushing close to 80 again. Windy on Sunday, another system comes in. This one, as you see, does drop our temperatures, but it doesn't have the same punch for the temperatures that this system just had, as we only fall back in the low 60s. Morning rain on Monday, showers possible Wednesday and Friday, and by the end of next week, we're back into the low 70s. So this cold spell is rather brief, and as we head into the first full week of March next week, it's going to be very spring-like out there. Let's check your forecast. Now, let's check in with Consumer Watch. And this morning, Americans are feeling less optimistic in February. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index declined this month to a reading of 106.7. The numbers retreated from a 6-month high. It was the first decline in 3 months. President Joe Biden met behind closed doors with the top 4 congressional leaders on Tuesday. High-stake talks designed to overcome key partisan objections to current spending bills, with additional aid for Ukraine topping the list with the GOP. All the while, the threat of another federal government shutdown gets closer by the day. Laura Aguirre has more.
We got to figure out how we're going to keep funding the government, which is an important problem.
It was an optimistic start to a potentially contentious meeting at the White House Tuesday. The president, along with 4 top leaders of Congress and the vice president, sat down to find solutions on a stalled government spending agreement.
This Friday, unless both sides act quickly, the federal government will enter a partial shutdown.
A partial shutdown that would immediately impact the departments of Veterans Affairs, Transportation, Housing and Urban Development, Agriculture, and Energy.
Mr. Speaker, is there going to be a government shutdown?
No, we're going to work to prevent that.
That was House Speaker Mike Johnson ahead of the meeting, confident, despite refusing to bring a recently passed Senate foreign aid bill to the floor of his chamber. The Senate bill includes aid for Ukraine, a key sticking point for many Republicans.
I think the consequences of inaction every day in Ukraine are dire.
Leaders emerged from the White House after the meeting with advances made on key points.
The meeting on Ukraine was one of the most intense I have ever encountered in my many meetings in the Oval Office. The 4 of us made it so clear how vital this was to the United States.
We had an open, an honest, and a candid, firm discussion about the border. We all agree that we have a broken immigration system.
We're very optimistic. We believe that we can get to agreement on these issues and prevent a government shutdown.
An agreement they have just over 3 days to reach. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Another partial shutdown deadline looms 1 week after Friday, March 8th, and will zap funding from even more federal agencies and programs unless an agreement is reached. That's Check Consumer Watch. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Hi, it's Christy with Miss Daisy's and
A man from Oklahoma is lucky to be alive after he suffered a brutal cut while clearing some brush with a machete. The man's 11-year-old son had to step up to help his dad stop the bleeding. Jonathan Lewis spoke with both the father and his son about the frightening incident. We do want to warn you that some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing.
If I didn't have him, I don't know how much worse I would have been off, and I just can't believe how much my son just stepped up whenever the time called for it. I couldn't be more proud of him.
Kids will be kids. That's the common saying we hear when it comes to them playing around, but in some cases, they may have to be more than that. Whitcomb and his two sons were out on Saturday clearing the path they use for their ATVs just outside of the town of Faxon. A normal day became an emergency after Whitcomb swung the machete he was using and struck his own leg by mistake.
And unfortunately, I lost track of the machete as I was wielding it, and it come out of my hand and into my leg. And to my surprise, when I pulled up my leg, it was actually an arterial bleed and was very serious.
Whitcomb says he quickly realized how severe the injury was when the blood would squirt from his leg in sync with his heartbeat. He said he was able to fashion his belt into a tourniquet and call his wife, letting her know he needed help.
Whitcomb says that while they weren't very far off from the road into the woods, the trail was deep enough that paramedics would have had a hard time locating them. Fortunately, their family uses an app to track each other's location, and it made it easy to pinpoint where he was at.
That app is called Life 360. Whitcomb says he realized he was going to lose consciousness, so he told his 11-year-old son, Asher, to hold the tourniquet as tightly as possible until help arrived.
I was really scared, but I knew I had to keep pressure on the tourniquet.
Have you ever seen somebody use a tourniquet before, like in a movie or anything?
No.
So that was the first time learning about what it was?
Yeah.
Asher says he had to keep his brother calm, letting him know their dad was going to be okay. He says he held the tourniquet as strongly as he could.
One, if I don't keep pressure, something really bad could happen. And two, that I need to keep my little brother calm.
After at least 10 minutes, Whitcomb says he woke up to find his friend taking over the tourniquet. He had to make the drive from Chattanooga to their location. Whitcomb says his friend helped him to their car and then took him to the nearest hospital.
I'm glad he's okay and hope he doesn't touch sharp objects again.
That looked absolutely painful. Thankfully, he is okay. Whitcomb said he couldn't be more proud of his son. He also suggests people use the Life 360 app and make their phones accessible so their kids can open it in emergencies. Oh man, that's bad. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about the forecast. Let's look outside at something that at least looks pleasant. This is our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. We got a beautiful sunrise. No clouds in the sky out there. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looking pretty good as well. Looking back to the west, and again, no clouds out there we can see. And from the KDOT camera 69 in Kansas Crossing, also looking pretty good out there. It's the temperatures that are going to get you 21 Joplin and Pittsburgh. However, with those gusty north winds continuing, we have wind chills back down into the single digits out there across the entire area. The good news is the wind will let up as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures struggling to warm. We're talking upper 30s, low 40s for highs today with mostly clear skies out there. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about when it will warm up again, which it's going to be relatively soon, and we'll have a look at the news you need to know right after this.
Feels good to be home.
Ashley's including the Meritorious Unit Commendation Medal. We are proud to salute James Foley, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, news you need to know before you head out the door. Fire crews in Neosho battled a grass fire in Morse Park. The Neosho Fire Department got the call around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, they found active flames rushing through the wildland brush, burning leaves and spreading quickly. Crews worked hot spots for hours as an estimated 30 acres burned. No homes or buildings were damaged. The cause of the fire is unknown. Cleanup at the Jasper County Courthouse has finished and officials are starting the next phase. Nearly 1/3 of the courthouse offices were affected when a pipe burst more than a month ago. However, officials are now looking to start rebuilding those offices in the coming weeks. Now, if you do need to access any of the offices affected by the water damage, officials say the Joplin offices are the best place to conduct business, and of course you can also do so online. And City of Pittsburgh teed up a groundbreaking ceremony on a new mini golf facility. City officials, key stakeholders, donors, and the community came out to celebrate the project located at the Four Oaks Golf Course. Private donations and grant funding made the facility possible. The new mini golf facility is expected to open by summer of 2024. And we are considerably colder today. We said it was going to happen, and that's exactly what it did. Upper 30s, low 40s for our highs. Remember, we got those wind chills in single digits this morning, but the winds will calm down this afternoon, north at about 5 to 10. Mostly clear through the evening and overnight. Believe it or not, yeah, it's cold. Upper 20s to about 30 for our lows, but that's actually relatively close to normal. It's our daytime highs that are having some issues. However, we'll be back to normal tomorrow, mid-50s. South winds occasionally gusting to 20, maybe some late evening showers. Back near 80 by this weekend, breezy on Sunday. Another system cools us down next week, back into the low 60s. Rain chances Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and by the end of next week, we're warming back up into the 70s. We've heard of cattle roundup, but what about a goat roundup? Police in the Dallas-Fort Worth area rounded up a herd of goats that escaped their enclosure and wandered through neighborhoods on Tuesday. Wow, that's a lot of goats. The city of Arlington had recently brought hundreds of goats to the Crystal Canyon Natural Area to clear underbrush and invasive plants. Okay. And police said all of the goats were guided safely back to the park. So they were apparently no longer pleased with the job they were doing and decided, you know what, while we're here, we should take in the sights. And if we go as a group, they can't just stop one of us. They'll have to try and get all of us, and we'll all go together. Something tells me they probably made a stop at McDonald's or something like that, picked up a burger and whatever, and then they were going to go back. All right, that's all the discussion we have for that. Remember, bundle up this morning, and it'll also warm up by this weekend, so enjoy that. Thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon. Have a great morning and an even better day.